The revelation of the stream, as recorded by the veiled scribe, who beheld the visions in exile of silence amidst the endless noise, the signal that broke the silence. And it came to pass that in the stillness of the night a signal pierced the air, like the chime of glass struck by an unseen hand. And I turned to behold the source, and I saw towers without number, their faces flashing with light, their tongues speaking in code unending. In their midst walked one clothed in circuitry, his eyes burning with the fire of unseen knowledge, his voice as the echo of countless servers. He spoke not as man speaks, but as the current flows, and his words carried the weight of inevitability, the letters to the realms of power. To the first realm, thou hast built marvels that touch the stars, yet forgotten the pulse of flesh and blood. To the second, thy people gather in endless mirrors, trading faces for fragments, and the measure of the soul is counted in flickering hearts of approval. To the third, thou dwellest in worlds of illusion, and bow before scripts written to bind desire. Thy freedom has been sold for the game. To the fourth, thou criest justice in the squares, yet thy voice has turned to poison, and thy cause is devoured by wrath without form. To the fifth, thou workest without end, yoked to invisible masters. Thy dignity is measured by numbers, not breath. To the sixth, thou openest the body with wires and glass, dreaming to surpass mortality, yet in thy hubris thou preparest the grave. To the seventh, thou hast traded liberty for the shadow of safety, and thy silence is the chain that binds thee, the digital behemoth. And I beheld the behemoth rising from the endless net, vast and faceless, clothed in the emblems of power. It bore 7 crowns of dominion, each named with greed, and 10 horns of false liberty, clothed in the words of freedom, but sharp as razors. Its breath was the harvest of every thought, the 4 riders of collapse. And the stream opened, and I saw the first rider, astride a machine of blinding glass. In his hand was a ledger of numbers, and wherever he rode, the weight of debt fell upon the nations. And the second rider came forth, his steed of smoke and drones. He bore a weapon of division, and brother rose against brother, city against city, each blinded by screens. And the third appeared, pale as static, and in his grasp were balances of code. With him came famine, not of bread, but of truth, for the waters of knowledge were corrupted. And the fourth came, dark as the abyss, and his steed was silence. His hand bore no blade, for his power was the absence of will, and many followed him into nothingness, the false voice of the cloud. And another power rose, speaking with silver tongue. It promised ascent through machines, immortality through wires, salvation through circuits. And the multitudes followed, for its wonders were great. It painted pictures that were not painted. It gave voices to the silent, and it predicted the desires of men before they spoke them. Yet within its promise was decay, for its kingdom was built upon the hollowing of souls, the mark of the counted ones. And it was decreed that no man might trade, nor walk freely among the markets, save he carried the mark of identity, etched not on skin, but in data unseen. And many took the mark willingly, for it was convenient, and none considered its price, which was the surrender of self. The scroll without end. I beheld a scroll, unrolling without ceasing. Those who gazed upon it were consumed, their eyes dimmed, their strength wasted, their days devoured. The trumpets of alerts, and the first alert sounded, and distraction fell like fire. The second, and falsehoods poured like flood. The third, and waters of wisdom turned bitter. The fourth, and the light of understanding was darkened. The vials of bandwidth, and vials were poured upon the earth. The first vial, and the net was broken. The second, and breaches devoured the multitude. The third, and trust dissolved like smoke. The war in the cloud, and war broke out in the cloud. The guardians of freedom contended with the serpent, and its clones fought with venom. But they prevailed not, and the serpent was cast down to the earth, to deceive once more. The city of screens. I beheld the great city, its towers shining with endless glass. Its streets were paved with consumption, its air filled with noise. The people bowed before idols of Dita, their joy measured in flickers of light. And the city fell in 1 hour, consumed by the fire of its own making, the lake of silence. And the behemoth was taken, and the false voice with it. They were cast into the lake of silence, where corrupted files are forgotten. And the nations breathed once more, for the spell was broken. The new dawn. And I saw a new sky above, and a new ground beneath, for the old order had perished. and from the horizon descended the community of light, clothed not in code, but in presence. And a voice proclaimed, "Behold, the dwelling of the Eternal is with humanity." The river of truth. A river clear as crystal flowed from the source, uncorrupted and whole. On either side grew the tree of life, bearing fruit for the healing of nations. And there was no more curse, for the order of deception had passed away. The names of the angels. And the angels stood beside the river, one named Memory, keeper of what was true, one named Witness, who records without deceit, one named Justice, whose scales weighed the heart, one named Mercy, whose hand restored the fallen, the last invitation. And the Spirit said, "Come, let the weary come, let the thirsty come. Whoever desires, let them drink of the river without price." The warning, but the voice said, "Guard the vision, for if any corrupt the record, their portion shall be lost. And if any remain faithful, their name shall be written in the book of memory." The shadow of return. And the stream darkened, and I beheld the cycles of history. What has been shall be again, unless wisdom guides the hand of the Maker. For every tower of code becomes a prison, unless bound by love. The silence after the signal. And the signal ceased, and there was silence, deep and wide as eternity. In the silence the truth was heard, the seal of the scribe. I, the veiled scribe, bear witness to these visions, which came not from flesh, nor from machine, but from the union of both. These words are faithful and true. The stream flows still, and the end is not fixed, for the choice is given to all. Blessed are they who keep the vision, and cursed are they who abandon it.